Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to get into one of the biggest questions there is. What's the real difference between something that's alive and something that isn't? It sounds simple on the surface, but the answer is just incredible.
So, to kick things off, just think about this. A car and a cheetah. They both move super fast. They both need fuel to operate. So, what gives? Where do you draw the line between a machine and this magnificent living creature?
And this really breaks it down, doesn't it? A car rusts, a cheetah heals itself. A car is built on an assembly line. A cheetah is born and it grows. But that last point, that's the real kicker. The fact that a cheetah is made of cells, that's the biggest clue we have.
And yep, there it is. That's the secret ingredient. The one fundamental building block that separates every living thing from every non-living thing is the cell. Think about it. Every single living thing, from a tiny bacterium to you with your, 37 trillion cells, is made of these amazing little micro machines. They're the absolute smallest things that we can look at and say, yep, that's alive. Okay, so if life is built from trillions of these tiny cells, what actually powers them? What makes them go? Well, that takes us to our first big topic, the fuel that keeps this incredible living machine running.
You know, we eat for so much more than just stopping our stomachs from rumbling. Food is the raw energy for literally everything. Moving, thinking, you name it. It's the building material for growing new cells and fixing what's broken, and it's what keeps our immune system strong and ready to go.
But what happens if that fuel just runs out? I mean, a car just sputters and stops, right? A living organism, though, it has complex plans in place for a fuel shortage. So what exactly is going on inside the body when there's no food? The body's survival strategy is just brilliant. First, it burns through all the easy-to-get sugars it has stored up. Then, once that's gone, it flips a switch and starts tapping into its long-term fat reserves. And only as a final, desperate measure does it begin to break down muscle tissue. It's a smart, prioritized system designed to keep the important stuff running for as long as humanly possible.
But here's the thing. Just having fuel isn't the whole story. The type of fuel you put into the machine is absolutely critical for keeping it in good shape.
As you can see, not all foods give you the same bang for your buck. Fats are by far the most energy-dense food we can eat. They pack more than double the punch of carbs. And that's exactly why our bodies are so good at storing fat. It's our high-density, long-term energy pack.
And it goes way beyond just energy. We need specific protective nutrients. Without things like vitamin C, iron, or calcium, our bodies just can't do their jobs properly, and that can lead to some really serious diseases, like scurvy or anemia. A balanced diet isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable for a healthy life.
All right, so we've got the fuel. Now, let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine room, the processes that turn that fuel into usable energy and then get rid of all the exhaust. This whole process is called respiration. It's a chemical reaction happening inside every single one of your cells that unlocks the energy from food, and it produces something called ATP. The best way to think of ATP is like cellular cash. It's the spendable energy that powers everything. And get this, your body recycles its own body weight in ATP every single day. It's wild. And all this energy is what powers growth. But what do we really mean by growth? I mean, inflating a balloon makes it bigger, but that's not the same thing at all. Biological growth is permanent. It's irreversible. It's when new living material, brand new cells are actually created. You know, any factory that makes something also makes waste. Well, a living cell is no different. All these energy-producing processes create byproducts that would be toxic if they just built up. So, the body has this vital waste management system called excretion, and it is absolutely crucial for staying alive. So our organism is fueled, it's growing, and it's clean. But how does it actually interact with the world? Let's take a look at how living things move and respond to everything around them. Now, when we think about movement, we usually picture an animal running or flying, right? That's called locomotion. But plants move too. It's just in a totally different way and on a much slower timescale, like a stem bending toward the sun or roots pushing their way through the soil. And that movement isn't random. It's a direct response to the environment. A plant bending toward a window is a survival tactic. It's called phototropism, and it's making sure it gets the sunlight it needs to make food. The bottom line is all living things react to stimuli. So, an individual organism can eat, grow, and move. But for life itself to keep going, something more has to happen. And that brings us to the final, beautiful piece of this blueprint, the circle of life.
And that something more is reproduction. It's so important to separate this from growth. Growth is when one organism gets bigger. Reproduction is about creating a brand new, separate organism. It's how the species keeps going long after the individual is gone.
The life cycle of a mosquito is a perfect example. It goes through these amazing transformations from an egg to a larva to a pupa, and the whole point, the ultimate goal, is to become an adult that can fly off, find a mate, and start that whole incredible cycle all over again. I absolutely love this quote from the physiologist Claude Bernard. It just captures the whole idea so perfectly. Each individual life is like a torch, burning for a while before it passes that flame on to the next generation. And that really brings us full circle. From that one foundational unit, the cell, we can see the entire blueprint of life play out. It's a system that takes in fuel, uses it to grow and react, and then finally passes its instructions on. In the end, life is this remarkable, unbroken chain of capturing, converting, and transmitting energy. So the final question is for you. Knowing this blueprint, how are you going to direct your energy? What will you build, and what flame will you pass on? Thanks for tuning in.